Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to the attic. I'm making this video because we need to talk about a new cartoon released by Jehovah's Witnesses on their jw.org website, which encourages children to become pioneers.
And we have one more announcement. Sister Lydia Diaz is now serving as a regular pioneer. We're so happy for you. We know you'll have many spiritual adventures ahead of you. Adventures ahead of you.
What?
Hey, Dad. I want to be a pioneer.
That's wonderful, Caleb. What do you think pioneers do?
They go on adventures?
A pioneer's life is exciting. Do you remember when we talked about being a publisher?
Uh-huh.
They preach the good news. But pioneering is a way we can give even more to Jehovah. Pioneers devote their time and energy to help as many people as possible to become Jehovah's friends.
I love to do that.
I know you do. Pioneers also get to go to school. Not that type of school. A special school that they attend with other pioneers, where they dig into the Bible and learn how to become an even better friend of Jehovah. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool. So, pioneers don't go on adventures?
Oh no, they do. Pioneers look for Jehovah's friends all over the earth. And some travel to faraway places. You know, Caleb, keep telling others about Jehovah. And when the time comes, you will be ready to go on the adventure of pioneering.
Pretty chilling, isn't it? This is how low Jehovah's Witnesses are sinking when it comes to child indoctrination. So if you've not seen these cartoons before, this is part of a series called Become Jehovah's Friend. The two main characters are a brother and sister, a literal brother and sister, Caleb and Sophia. And each of the lessons in the series is really intended to mold young people into Jehovah's Witnesses by, again, indoctrinating them with Jehovah's Witness ideology and forming their opinions about what their lives should be like moving forward. In this case, you have the overt message that young people, that everyone indeed, should be aspiring to be a pioneer. So if you don't know what a pioneer is currently someone who pledges to do 50 hours of volunteer work per month for Jehovah's Witnesses. So 50 hours of working for free. I used to do pioneering, and back when I was doing pioneering, we were required to do 70 hours of pioneering for free. So preaching, knocking on people's doors, walking down the street, handing out leaflets, that sort of thing. In the year that I started pioneering, the requirement was actually 90, and then it got reduced to 70. So back in the day, it used to be even more. It's slowly coming down. But 50 is still a lot. 50 hours of preaching for free is still a lot for someone to be committing to. What it basically means is that you cannot have a full-time job. I mean, how can you have a full-time job and do realistically 50 hours of preaching per month. I mean, unless you're just not sleeping or you're living a very unhealthy lifestyle, it's impossible. So what they're really doing is sabotaging the lives of young people right from the earliest age possible, i.e. the age when they're watching cartoons. And they're saying, this is who we want you to become. We don't want you to be thinking about your own success and prosperity. We want you, even as children, to be thinking about how you can serve the organization and make things better for the organization rather than for yourself. That's what we're dealing with. And isn't it interesting that even in the cartoon, they cannot help but overtly mislead? So Caleb's ears get pricked to begin with during the meeting when he hears the word adventures.
We know you'll have many spiritual adventures ahead of you. Adventures ahead of you.
So that's what gets Caleb interested to begin with. And what child wouldn't be interested in going on adventures? It's just that Caleb has clearly got a wrong impression about what it means to be a pioneer, and he actually needs to be corrected by his father. So even in the cartoon, they cannot help but mislead and manipulate. And only slightly do they backtrack later in the cartoon by saying that pioneering generally can be considered an adventure, even if it isn't solely about going on adventures. It was interesting as well that we had that visual of Lydia Diaz, the fictional girl who's become a pioneer. We had that visual of her as kind of like a Lara Croft character. And she's wearing like a holster on her thigh, similar to what Lara Croft would have for a gun. Only clearly it's not a gun that she's got in her holster. Is it what, like a small Bible? Is it a Bible holster? Why does she need that? And she's got her kind of Indiana Jones hat on. Again, all intended to plant this seed in the mind of the child that there is something exciting about being a pioneer, when that very much isn't the case. In fact, you hear later Caleb's father overtly say, a pioneer's life is exciting.
A pioneer's life is exciting.
Well, how can he say that about all pioneers? I mean, he might be more accurate if he were to say a pioneer's life might be exciting. But to say a pioneer's life is exciting is manifestly misleading. And pioneers themselves know that their job is not about excitement, and it's not about adventure or going through the jungle, which again is where Caleb's mind is going with all of this. A pioneer's life is about preaching and about making disciples. How is that intrinsically exciting? It's not. It's just overt manipulation. And there was another very interesting moment, maybe you caught it, where Caleb has a negative reaction to the word school.
Pioneers also get to go to school. Not that type of school.
So the joke here is that children don't like school, and probably the majority of Jehovah's Witness children don't like school because it's a nightmare going to school as a Jehovah's Witness child, because you're effectively told that you need to preach to your classmates and to your teacher if you get the opportunity, and that results in lots of bullying. But school needn't be a negative thing for a child. You're not going to get that reaction from all children when you talk about school. You know, really what they're doing here is showing that this is the organization's view of school. This is the organization's view of secular education, something that should give us feelings of revulsion. Oh, wouldn't want to be involved in learning or educating myself. And another thing I found really interesting about this video, just circling back to this overt use of deception and manipulation that is being employed by the makers of the video here. There's a moment where Caleb's father says, "Pioneers look for Jehovah's friends all over the earth."
Pioneers look for Jehovah's friends all over the earth.
So when we say all over the earth, are we talking about Afghanistan? Are we talking about North Korea? Are we talking about Somalia? What do you mean, Caleb's dad? Every single part of the planet? There are pioneers openly looking for Jehovah's friends? He knows that's not true. It's parts of the world that are friendly to Jehovah's Witnesses, where you will find Jehovah's Witnesses or people going out to recruit other Jehovah's Witnesses. But it's not pioneers necessarily that are involved in doing this. If you are a pioneer assigned to a congregation and your territory has parts that are not often worked, then yes, you might be involved in doing this work. But really what he's talking about clearly are missionaries and special pioneers, and that's something different than a pioneer, which is what the video is about. A pioneer is someone who just pledges to do 50 hours of preaching every month for their congregation, no matter where on the planet it is. And the makers of this video are essentially tricking children into thinking that there might be some element of travel involved, that there might be some chance that simply by pledging to do 50 hours per month, that automatically means that they'll wind up on a boat down, going down a river or being in a jungle in some way, shape or form. And that's manifestly not what pioneering is about. Again, pioneering is not about looking for excitement. It's not about going on adventures. It is purely about recruiting people into the Jehovah's Witness religion. And frankly, how dare the makers of this video, how dare they exploit young minds in this garish, grotesque way? How dare they use the medium of cartoons to try and trick young people, children, into thinking that pledging 50 hours per month to an organization is what they should be aiming for at the expense of their own future success and prosperity. I had to comment on this. Let me know what you think in the comments below, viewers, but that's all I have time for. Thank you so much for watching.